Hey, it's Geno Bisconte from the Artie Lange podcast, and you're listening to the PBR podcast. It's easier to spell. Should I have shade for this? Should I?
I look good.
Now?
Sophisticated podcast, baby. Now tell me something good. Oh, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Pizza Bar. Oh, wow. Did you see what I just did there? What's up, everybody? PBR Podcast. Mike Polano, Derek D. And sitting in, Mr. Geno Bisconte. Yeah.
Geno.
Thank you so much for coming down. All the way from what?
buddy.
Tom's River?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Yes.
Why do I think Tom's River? Is that where you record the pod?
No, that's where we did it a few days during the summer because Artie is still trying to sell his beach house. And so if he had a showing the next day, he's like, just come here, we'll do it,
Right.
and get the fuck out. Can
That's
we
the
say
one.
fuck?
That's the one right on the
Say
lagoon.
whatever you want to say.
That's fucking great.
That's the one right on the lagoon, right?
Yeah,
Tom's River?
it's huge. It's
Yeah,
big.
well,
It's
yeah.
large. Big hitter, the llama long. So we went there a couple times.
Then where are you in Brooklyn normally? Where's Artie?
Oh, the podcast is out of Artie's apartment, which is right in Hoboken. It's overlooking.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like the inverse of Manhattan. It's overlooking the Manhattan skyline. It's fantastic.
Yeah, because I think I've seen pictures you've tweeted and stuff about that.
That's what I do. You know, I'm very social media savvy. That's all I do.
Listen, your Periscope, you have one Periscope up. Was it today?
Yeah, it was today.
I have two. I did a second one called Take Two, but the first one was just that's how I succeed by failing. That's how I succeed. I put up the stupid Periscope where it's not facing me, so I have to face it away. And all you see is the dashboard of my orange Chevy Sonic, which we've talked about.
That's
there.
we
That's
have.
a sweet little ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you see the little kid kicking and screaming in the trunk, so then I have to turn it again. And then I'm mad. I'm like, no one's. And then you get mad. You're like, because you're looking at the back of your phone. And then I'm like, well, it's not like anyone's listening. It's my first. And there's like 5 comments. I'm like, God damn it, people are looking at me.
Yeah.
Be a jackass.
You made people quit Periscope. I don't know if you looked at the Twitter feed afterwards.
One guy said, I am the Mike Bichetti of Periscope. Just an idiot on there. I don't know what I'm doing. And then somebody said, he was cracking up. He's like, that's the funniest Periscope I've ever seen. And he's like, by the way, you just tap it twice and it turns on.
It turns
you.
the camera around.
Please.
Do you
The
have,
whole
like,
internet turned on me.
Do you have like the little holster in your car for your phone?
No.
You got to get like a little thing, dude, and you put your phone.
Oh, I've got a little thing. Tell him, Frankie. Tell him, Frankie. Come on the podcast anyway. You tickled me.
You put like your phone in the little holder thing on the windshield, and then you can drive in Periscope.
What fun is that?
Well, you just
I've
talk.
got a thing on the side that the phone fits in nicely.
That's what I'm talking
Your
about.
angle is terrible.
Oh, is it a
As
bad
a camera
angle?
guy, your angle's a little bit.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
coming
you.
up from below. You're looking at the roof of the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Okay, so
I want to see the background go. For all I know, you were in your garage pretending to drive.
That's where I slept last night. Are you happy?
It was Geno's first Periscope.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
We're gonna work on this.
It was rough. There's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of upside for Periscope 2.
P2.
How long have you been on it? This thing, it's ridiculous. I don't even I still don't understand it.
I've been on it, but I've only done, I think, 3 or 4 Periscopes.
Really?
Yeah. It's fairly new, man. You know, it's like you're in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
You know
Ground
what I mean?
floor.
Ground floor.
Daddy's on the ground floor.
You know?
That's how Daddy likes it.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We really
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
it.
I'm glad it worked out.
People might not know where you're from. You're from Artie Lange's podcast. You also actor, comedian, a bunch of
Actor,
stuff. You're
comedian,
everywhere.
host, sports.
I looked at your
sports
sizzle,
enthusiast.
right?
That's a good sizzle, right?
It was a good sizzle. I'm a little pissed off at you because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. You said some shit about the NFC East I wasn't down with.
Although I think this year, I think it's yours to lose. I think it's coming down to you and the Giants, and then Jason Pierre-Paul blew his hand off. What a dope.
Oh, wait, what
that's a good
happened?
joke. What's that?
He was messing with fireworks. He mangled his hand a little bit.
It's going to be the biggest handoff of the year for the Giants. It's a
you
football
wrote-
joke, honey. Yeah, look at that. Who's jingling car keys at you? Yes, they are. They'll never find her body. But yeah, I do all that stuff. But I've been up in the city. Derek knows. Like, we were talking about it off air. Like, that's how I met Derek, because I've always done sports stuff. And we had this audition, had to be 5 or 6 years ago. We're looking for hosts. And one was for a sports show, and one was for, what was yours, entertainment?
Yeah.
And then they're like, you guys are great, we want you. So we're like bullshit. I'm like, this is great, you know, because you feel like you earned something because you're talented, which we are. But no, this is just some guy saying you were the first dude that actually showed up, and it looked sober enough. So then they're like, all right, the first taping is next week, and it's like that scene in Fame with Irene Cara where we're in some back room.
It was so weird,
Some
dude.
guy
You
with
made, you made an Irene Cara reference and a Fame reference.
That's right. You
Like
heard
half
me.
of half of our listeners just tuned out. They're like, what?
Yeah,
They're all Googling
You're
that
on
right
your
now.
laptop, stupid. Google it. Irene Cara, tits. Do it.
Yo, so we came back for like whatever, if you want to even call that a shoot.
Yeah.
And this dude was like, basically we were like in this room with a whiteboard, right? Wasn't it like a whiteboard? And you were,
He looked like the villain from Blood Diamond.
So wait,
That's what he looked
was
like.
this like a pilot? Was this a sizzle reel? Like, was this a green?
He wanted to do
show?
a weekly video show.
yeah, which I guess in concept it would have been good if he jumped in then.
Yeah.
But like all wrong, not good, not well produced. The production quality was super low.
Guy didn't have a camera one time. He's like, wait right here. We had to wait for. We're like, what is
So
this?
you did multiple episodes.
We did one, and then the second one is when it all fell apart.
Is this episode anywhere that we can
I don't
see?
think so.
No, I doubt it.
We like to pull Derek's shit.
Oh,
out from
why
the
wouldn't you?
gutter,
That's
know what
the
I mean?
best
As
stuff.
you should.
Do you know that he was a real Slim Shady
What?
at the MTV Music Awards? You remember Eminem?
Yes, you were one of the background dancers,
Yeah, I was one of the 95 people walking behind him.
and that's the stuff people seek out. Like one of the video with the most hits of mine is not my live at Gotham. It's my scene where I did some independent film and I played a drunk octopus in a giant octopus suit that I believe was made by the producer's grandmother, and it's just me online, just acting like an octopus who's drunk.
Nice.
I'm not really acting. I'm actually pretty
You're-
fucked
yeah.
up. It's a gift.
That was on the Live at Gotham though. That was on Access TV, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
That's Access TV. That's a
was
fun little thing because they do it live.
Yeah.
Literally, so it's not like it's called Gotham Comedy Live. Live at Gotham was the one on Comedy Central,
Yeah.
which wasn't live, so it was like a comedy show. But Gotham Comedy Live, I know it's all starting to sound redundant, is literally a live show, so you can work with the crowd a little more, and no one gives a crap. You know, it's not like oh, let's warm up the crowd. It's like let's go out there and tell actual jokes.
And
That's
then the
what I
audience
really like.
knows it's live TV, so they're stoked about it.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't have to tell them to be excited. They're in a great mood. You know,
they
it's a fun
want to
time.
laugh. It's a great room. That room's nice.
Yeah, big time.
Gotham's the one with the restaurant upstairs. The
No, that's the
infamous.
stand. No, that's the Comedy Cellar.
Okay.
And then the stand was modeled after the cellar, so same thing, low ceiling, restaurant upstairs. Gotham is just a really nice room, really nice. Chris Mazzilli runs it.
Yeah, I know Chris. Good
guy.
dude. Real good dude.
He's the guy not returning my calls if you need. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
I don't like to blow up Derek's spot too much, but he also was in a boy band. Do you know this?
I would love to hear about it.
He was in
even if I did, I'd say no. So you would tell me.
This isn't stuff I randomly would just tell. Like,
Oh, I know
tell
he doesn't
Gina.
know, and that's why I want him to know. And I want the world to know. I have to bring it up.
What was the boy band?
It was called Mixed Results with a Z.
At the end of the word.
The Z
results.
makes him. Were you? Let me guess. You were the dangerous one.
No, come on. Have you looked at this
He's
guy?
the clean cut
Yeah.
one. He was the Lance Bass. It's only a matter of weeks. That's what it was.
You have something you want to say to the audience?
What a
right
dick.
Yeah, we just like danced, didn't really sing, but hey, man, it was cool for a while. I was hey, we were on. I won like 3 episodes of Say What Karaoke on MTV back in the day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What happened to TV?
What happened to TV?
What's it?
It's dead, man.
It is. It's
on,
dead.
right?
It's a dying medium. It's a dying medium.
I'm so glad you say that because we talk about that a lot
As
on the
opposed
show.
to me, Frank, I've been called an enthusiastic medium. Nothing.
Well, yeah, at least you went to medium because before you were small.
Sometimes Daddy
And
rounds
now
up.
you
That's
got to
what I
round
do.
up.
That's what I do.
But we tackle it all the time, man. It's and all 3 of us, have shows, podcasts, or webisodes or web series. And how do you feel about that, man? You think like how long until I say it's a generation when this generation, our parents die off. As horrible as that sounds, TV dies with them.
Well, appointment TV is dead. That's the line everyone uses. Like when we were kids.
That's a good way to put it. Appointment.
Yeah, I've never
Appointment
heard
TV. Once you do, you never forget it. A
Yeah.
buddy of mine told it to me a couple years ago. He's like, appointment TV is dead. No one sits at home Thursday night to watch The Cosby Show or a Generation
Right.
4 Monday night to watch All in the Family. You don't.
Yeah, man. You're right.
You don't. You
Must see TV. Remember that?
Yes, now it's just DVR it, and I can't wait for the next season of like House of Cards on Netflix to
Right.
just watch that in a weekend.
Or watch
Right.
it on the train. Like, it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
You could, back in the day, it was like, gotta get home, to watch.
Yeah.
And the family would gather around. Now it's the kid's up in his room with his iPad.
And now, while there is TV, what's left? It's like shards of it. There's 800 channels instead of now when you say, hey, I have a meeting, I'll tell my friends, like, don't get excited. It's not with like Paramount.
Yeah.
Not on the lot at NBC.
Yeah.
I'm going to some building in Midtown. I'm going to pitch to a production company, because all you want is one show that you, like, here's what I always got with my sports show. And this is why, let me say, first of all, very thankful because I started doing these football videos that, that's
Geno's
and
Picks.
they're called Geno's Picks. And they started because I love sports and I love stand up. So I would just talk about football and then I'd pick the games against the spread and whatever the joke went, that's how I'd, make the pick against the spread, but it started as just sports and comedy. And I threw in the gambling aspect, so it would have these 3 different, directions. It's got sports, it's got comedy, which is the pop culture, and it's got gambling. But then everyone looked at it as gambling because they were so damn accurate. I was like 60 to 70% against the spread.
He was pretty. He
But
was really
were the
good.
picks like legit picks, or did you say you made the picks
Against
based on
the spread.
on comedy?
Against the spread.
Like, so
and whatever
if you
the
found a joke in something, that's the way you went.
Because yes, that's the only way you can go.
And your picks
My
were...
first year, I was 74% against the spread going just past Thanksgiving,
That's
and this
great.
is how little it's unbelievable. And how little I knew was I would say to my buddy the bookie, I'm like, well, and any gambler is about to laugh what I'm going to say because I said it with a straight face. I'm like, well, I'm just picking the 4 easiest games. There are no easy games in
Right.
gambling, Yeah. But here's the thing: it's like I would take the game and I'd pick it against the spread based on which way the joke went. Because anyone that's like, oh, this is what they always said. They're like, I have a system. No one has a system.
Right.
There's a reason Vegas is filled with huge buildings because they're always going to win.
Sure.
So anyone that would say, oh, there's no system to it. So I would just let it go and write a joke. So after the first year, I
love that.
Right. So after the first year, I ended up finishing about 68% against the spread, which is still ridiculous because any gambler will tell you, and I didn't know, this is what I was told, 53% against the spread, you're making money. So if you're right 53% of the time, you're covering the juice.
But were you betting?
What's that?
Were you betting your own numbers?
I was not betting the first year. Was not. So
The second year comes around, what's your percentage?
Why don't you tell me what happened the second year?
You shit the bed completely.
Because why?
25%.
Because I started gambling.
You were thinking
why is
about
it-
your own money. You're getting too thought about it.
Yeah.
Yes!
It's like it's that same thing where it's like
39% against the spread.
Oh, wow.
Terrible.
I
That's
thought
terrible.
it was going to be worse.
And I said to people, in my defense, it's just as hard to predict 70%, 60% of the games right as it is to get 60% wrong. That's hard to do.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I was.
I love
So then I went back to my old way, and I don't bet. I get the rush now out of, hoping for my picks.
Has it gone back up?
Back up. I was.
Come on, man.
I was
See, 'cause subconsciously-
60% against the spread.
Subconsciously, you're trying to bet. You're trying to think about it.
You're afraid.
Yeah.
You're not thinking like a guy that's just letting the energy be. Like the perfect example is the AFC and NFC championship games 2 years ago when it was Seattle versus Denver. It was Seattle versus San Fran, and it was Denver versus New England, and everyone was on San Fran getting 2.5, and everybody was on New England getting 5. And I went with both favorites. And the perfect line was I said, everyone's looking at Manning versus Brady. But what you've got to realize is even though Brady is 8-4 against Manning, those first 4 wins came when Manning first started. He was on a terrible Colts team.
Yeah.
And Brady was on the early dynasty Patriots. Take that away. They're 4-4 since. And I said, what you really have to look at is everyone is worried about Peyton Manning because he's had 3 different doctors work on his spine in the past 2 years. I said, but what no one's noticing is that Tom Brady has had one woman completely remove his spine. And then I show a picture of him with Giselle on a bike with their kid. And that's it in a nutshell. So the joke, you're laughing at the Patriots. So you say the joke and you're like, there you go. So take Denver and the points. And that's got nothing rooted in logic. And that's how you bet. And anyone that thinks like, well, I really like, and here's the other one. What's the line telling you? I'm always like, gambling lines don't talk. The only lines that have ever talked to me are lines of cocaine. And they always say, what are you waiting for? I think another one was that line is crying. Take care. I'm like, lines don't cry. The only line I've ever seen crying was the one outside Planned Parenthood on Christmas Eve.
I beg to differ.
Not like
though,
a
man.
good abortion joke. Am I right, Frankie? Didn't mean to bring up your prom. Okay, so.
I think that's the most logical thing I've ever heard in a bet.
It's the only way to. There's no way to say. I always say like if someone said that goes against what I was thinking, then you've already lost. If you think there's you have a reason to bet other than I like green. One year we bet Oregon to the over every game. This year actually, and they were losing the first 5. Losing, but we'll just keep betting them, and we kept betting them. And then they covered. They covered every game from UCLA. Through the championship game when they finally lost to Ohio.
Yeah.
And people are like, I just have a feeling. I'm like, no. They're like, why are you betting? I'm like, because I have been every week. And the second,
it's kind of like that. Like I'm gonna pool every year for every football game. We just got to pick wins and losses for every game.
Right.
No spread, nothing. And I've never won, and I've come close. And a couple of times I came close. I was like, you know what? Like my ex-girlfriend at the time was like, just you do the picks. Just do them.
Yeah,
She's
right.
like, well,
I like the color of the jersey.
It's really true. Yeah,
Right?
I'm not trying to stereotype,
Sure.
but that's really, she's like, well, I'm not really a big fan of them. And plus their jerseys are dumb. And like, that's really what she based it on. And I think I lost 2 games.
Yeah.
But I ended
Wow.
up losing
Yeah.
because someone only lost 1.
I love your theory, man, because I have a theory at the track. You bet the ponies?
I do bet the ponies, but I just bet on the names I like and stuff.
I go down in the paddock and I watch. It's called the shitter theory, and I've been doing this for years,
The
man.
shitter theory?
Shitter theory.
Go on.
I watch the ponies walk around the paddock, and I bet the ones that shit before the race.
Wow.
It's like I'm not.
As opposed to the ones that shit the bed during the race.
Yeah.
I bet across the board.
WPS,
Win
sure.
plays show. I'm not like over 90% in the money every single time.
Jesus Christ. That
You
makes
figure maybe they're a little lighter now.
Yeah.
They're lighter.
they're in a good space. They're not backed up. They're
Yeah.
not constipated.
Gino, you
They're-
played sports.
What's that?
You played sports.
I did play sports.
Right? You ever, sometimes you're backed up for a game.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
You don't play so great.
Yeah.
Right?
And I like playing in the mud. That's why I like betting the horses in the mud. Daddy's a mudder. That's how I do it.
Nice.
Played a little baseball, a little soccer. That's it. Little flag football. I said flag. Don't
I
get
still,
nervous.
by the way, you're looking at the flag football champion of Bar A this past spring.
Bar A?
Bar A in Belmar.
Oh, okay.
Bar A flag football championship team. Right here.
My nephew plays flag
The
football.
gentleman.
He's 11.
Did I mention I got 2 state championship rings in high school?
Yes, you put
Yeah,
him.
but did you play?
You put
Yeah, I
him-
played.
Stop.
Special teams.
he put him-
Counts.
All right, put it this way. I was one of
He
like
competed.
4 white dudes on the team.
What are you trying to
And-
say, man? You gonna pull a
No, I'm
Jimmy the
just-
Greek? What are you?
No, I'm just saying that there were a lot of really good athletes.
That's what he's saying, dude.
He
Why you
is,
gotta
right?
make it
I was
that
like a
way?
little Wes Welker. I was all shore JV, son. Junior year.
There's no such thing.
There should be.
There should
there's
be.
Crushed. Our
Because
JV team would have crushed many varsity teams.
Tons of black people play football by the shore. Okay, so
Well, they do at Neptune.
Are you one of these sports guys that's like, hates hockey?
no, I don't hate any sport. You know what I hate? I hate dumb fans of any sport. I hate fans that just don't listen. Like, that's why I love talking sports, because I will sit there and I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll listen to you. And if you say something stupid, I'm good. I'll make fun of you. But if you say I'll listen. But don't ever think if you're engaged in a conversation with me, 90% of the time, there's no right answer when you're talking sports.
No, it's all
But we'll
opinion,
go,
man.
no, because blah, blah, like when someone sits there.
All it is opinion. And
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Is hockey is hockey fun to watch in the playoffs? For me, yeah. Is hockey ever going to be interesting during the regular season? No. They play too many games.
Yeah, but what about? Go ahead. Finish
They
that
play
thought.
too
Baseball.
many. The only sport that is timed perfectly, we say, is the perfect schedule is the NFL. That is why you're a fan of Dallas. That is why I'm a fan of the Chargers, because you can see them every week and you can read about them every week, and it is a well laid out schedule. But the other 3,
You have 6 days usually in between.
Yep.
Usually.
Yep. The other 3, you have too many teams in basketball and hockey that make the postseason. Too many. So who cares
Yeah.
about the regular season? Baseball, there's the right number make the postseason, but the regular season is so long. Who cares about the regular season? But I love watching baseball just because when I was a kid growing up, that's what I watched.
Do you
That's what I
really
played.
love watching baseball?
Yes, and I'll tell you
it's
why.
like watching paint dry. Man, I went to a Blue Claws game last night, and I like fell asleep in the outfield. I
Well,
left.
Blue Claws. I mean, it's fun to go
It's
there.
still
Watch
there. You're still
But
there, right?
baseball is the only sport left where there's a strategy to it. If you're watching football, let me tell you, my favorite sport to watch is football. I do not want to go to a football game.
No, it's a TV sport. Right?
It's a TV sport. You want to watch it, and that's why soccer will never catch on, but we'll deal with that later. But baseball is a game where we all go, we get a bunch of tickets, we sit around, we have some beers, and you talk strategy. Basketball happens too quickly. Hockey, I'm sorry that you like it. You'll grow up someday. Hockey's another thing that happens too quickly in real time, but baseball, we'll sit here and watch. We'll watch the Phils-Yankees game, and we'll talk about A-Rod and the steroids, and then we'll see him strike out and be like, you know what? He should have taken that pitch. And then we'll see Ryan Howard come up the next inning, and there's the shift on, and they'll pull and be like, why doesn't he just bunt to third once and pull them in? But then he'll get on base, and we'll say like, all right, so now this guy, do you pitch around him? Do you pinch run? And there's what's the word I'm looking for that we seem to be getting? A fucking intelligence to the game that people are losing because they want instant gratification and they want a periscope and they want to see
Yeah.
this and I don't get it. And this
Gino,
guy's
you're
so
angry
cute.
about
it. You're mad,
because
man.
the whole fabric of society is falling
Collapsed.
apart because people don't realize how fun it used to be to actually talk to people and
Yeah.
think and
Isn't
just
that amazing?
engage
It's amazing.
in a conversation.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
Totally.
The generation below us cannot. They don't know how to function in a setting like this.
But the thing that gets me are just dumb fans that think they're always right and don't realize Geno Smith is going to suck again.
Yeah.
And they sit there saying Johnny Manziel wasn't given a chance. I said Who was it? Colin Kaepernick. I said the second he pulled, and this is me being an angry Charger fan, second he got caught in a Miami Dolphins helmet. And look, you're a rookie. You make a mistake. But you remember this 2-3 years ago, he's out partying and he's wearing a Miami Dolphins helmet.
Yeah.
Excuse me, cap, because it matches his outfit. I get it. You're young. You want to look cool, whatever. But when you get caught, that is a wake-up call. You're an NFL QB. For the 49ers, and PTI said it, would you, if you're Joe Montana, if you're Steve Young, would you ever get caught in anything but a Niners? Okay.
Zero
And if
chance.
you did, you'd say, I'm sorry, my bad. He goes online, he holds up the hat on his Twitter, and it's just him holding the hat with the face, is this what you all upset about? I do what I want. I grind for my team. And right there I said, he's done. Because how are you going to get better in the NFL?
Yeah.
If
You're
you
not
can't-
even humble with something that's so simple
not
as
even
that.
that. If you can't be taught, if you're never wrong, then how can you learn anything? If you're never wrong, I said this,
Yeah.
how can you learn anything? And I'm trying to think what he did in the Super Bowl. I'm trying to think what he did on the last play, the last drive. He threw 3 times to Michael Crabtree. Right. Now I'm trying to think a year, and they lost that, right? They lost.
Yeah,
they
yes,
lost.
they lost.
Okay. And now I'm trying to think. He definitely learned his lesson because a year later they were playing the Seahawks championship game. After he threw a ridiculous pick at the 30 to give away. I'm trying to think on the biggest play of the game, what he did. Oh, wait. He threw the exact same play to Michael Crabtree in the right corner of the end zone where 3 Seahawks are camped out and they basically played volleyball.
Yeah.
And then he walked off the field and you know what he said in the conference? You know what he said?
I don't remember now.
No, why would you? Because who
cares?
But my brother's a Seahawks fan and I'm a Colin Kaepernick hater. He goes, well, I think on the play before, if coach doesn't call a timeout, Frank Gore runs it in. You know why they called a timeout? Because Colin Kaepernick didn't realize there was 1 second left on the play clock.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not paying attention. But again, he doesn't need to do that because you can't tell him anything.
Yeah, he's on his grind. He's grinding.
He's grinding for his team.
Grinding for his
Meanwhile, Russell Wilson, a guy who's got a lot less physical ability, but really smart, really classy, plays for his team. What's his record against Colin Kaepernick? Oh yeah, 6-1. Do you understand that? Do you understand? It just
Right,
shows
there's a
directly
difference.
related.
smart players win football, and
Period.
football's the best sport. And watch me come #full circle. It's a metaphor for like life. You compete, and sports football is that thing. And if you are intelligent and you can talk intelligently, you can get away with doing 30 Holocaust jokes. Like it could never happen again. Not with these gas prices. And I can't return my Diary of Anne Frank to the library because the pages are stuck together. Right? I can't.
That's terrible.
It's actually, now watch this. Watch, and you walked right into it, Mike. You know why you're laughing? Because you're intelligent, Derek. And as the Buddha says, you seek joy. Now here's your gift, Mike, for being fucking lazy. You have the visual of me jerking off into a great piece of literature. Okay. Good. Take it with you forever. That's what you deserve. And now watch me make you feel great about yourself and you worse, Mike. You know why the pages are actually stuck together, Frankie? From my tears. Because I cry when I'm done jerking off. Now, listen. But that's what we do. We get
Geno
lazy.
is on rapid fire.
It's
Rapid fire.
Let me switch gears just for 1 second. I want to get back to what we were talking to.
Why don't we switch him to funny or entertaining?
You were talking. We just were talking about like the generation behind us, man. And
The
how
blacks. Oh, no,
no,
once we
behind
started.
us,
Oh,
behind us.
oh,
We're not,
oh,
come on, the Confederate flag is going to go away.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question because Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham.
Are you familiar with this?
Comedian, right?
Yeah. Familiar
Yeah, but
with
I
this
don't-
I'm
comedy?
that YouTube dude.
Not in ages. I know the name. I know he's a comedian, but I'll be honest. I don't. What about
Well,
him?
he's young, man, and like I think he's a generation behind us, the Periscope generation, if you will. You know,
I'm in it, dude.
and his
I Periscope twice
You
a day.
did, dude. And his but not masturbating, which was thankful for everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that.
Sometimes I'll just slam the book on the ground on the subway and scream, "What is taking the Germans so long?" She's in the attic, Colonel Klink. Page 206. This could have been a short story. Knock, knock. It's Hitler. The end. I get it. Okay, Bo Burnham.
We won.
I'm just wondering if you as a comedian, like how you view the comedy of the kids coming up today.
I don't.
Is it different? Like, doesn't a lot of your comedy, like what you're doing right now, man, doesn't this come from human interaction? You build that up from when you're a kid, from your uncles, your aunts, your parents sitting
Yes.
around the table.
Yes.
You're a paisan like we are. Like,
Yes.
I know what your holiday dinners look like.
Yes.
And it looks like this.
Yes.
What you're doing right now.
Yes.
The kids aren't doing that, man. Their faces are in the phone. So what is how's that going to attribute to their comedy?
I don't-
And I love how your shirt has a hole for your thumb.
Yeah.
You got to show everybody.
Sometimes
that.
Daddy
What the
feels
hell
pretty.
is that?
I did the Legion of Skanks podcast once and wore one of these. It's this Lululemon shirt, but it's so, I'm not going to lie to you, it's so comfy.
I didn't mean to blow you up.
Sometimes Daddy will feel pretty, throw on his Lulu shorts. Neighbor will come pull me off myself. I don't know what goes on with, right? I don't know. Here's the thing. And this is the best I can answer it. When people always say, when I was a kid growing up, I couldn't wait to go get the Richard Pryor album.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to go get the Bill Cosby album. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid growing up, I never listened to a comedy album in my life. I mean, I grew up in a Norman Rockwell painting. I had great parents, but I had parents, and people always say, "Are your parents funny? Were your parents funny?" You don't know. And this is the thing, getting back to my recurring theme, the deterioration of American family. If you wake up every day and your dad punches your mother in the face, you think that's normal. You think that's just what you know. If you wake up every day like I do, like I did, it was me, it was four of us, and me and my brother, year apart, still best friends. You think that's normal. And it wasn't anything other than we were just never taught to take ourselves seriously. And too many people do. Too many people think they matter. Too many people, and I'm not getting on a religious thing here, and I'm not saying you should have to believe in God, but
we get it. You hate Jews. We've established that.
I love Jews. They run this media. I really do. I get away with it because I really do like everyone. And when it sees me, knows like I'm thrilled to hang out with anyone, anything, anytime. But people don't seem to get that, it's like, well, they take themselves too seriously. And I don't want to, so when I started doing comedy, it wasn't because I'm like, oh, I need to get on stage. I've just always been enthusiastic, always been outgoing, you know? And a girlfriend at the time, they'll never find her body. A girlfriend at the time.
That's like your callback.
Yeah, I know. She signed me up for an open mic, and I did it, and I crushed, but I wasn't funny. I was in front of 200 people in Wilmington, Delaware that I knew, but I thought it was funny because I don't know anything, so I'm doing the dumbest jokes, and everyone's laughing, and I think I'm hilarious. So a month later, I go and do stand-up in Philly, where I don't know anyone, not just reality check, but I'm so cocky.
Yeah.
I bring 6 friends because I'm going to kill, and I die, eat my ass.
Yeah.
And my friends couldn't stop making fun of me and vice versa. And in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, that's when I knew I wanted to be a comedian, because I honestly think if I thought it was as easy as it was the first time, I would say anyone can do this.
Same thing happened to me.
What happened to you? I don't know this.
Same type of thing. I had my first gig was actually at Caroline's, but it was for it was a comedy class.
If I did it at Caroline's, I was in Philly, I would have been humiliated. I would have moved. I would have left the country.
Yeah, but this was like a ton of family and friends.
I'm paying you
there.
props. I'm saying that's impressive. I would have been terrified.
And a ton of family and friends there, and I kill, and I'm like, got this.
Yeah.
This is.
Boom goes the Derek mic.
Yeah, and I thought actually my material, some of it was actually pretty good. And probably I don't do any of that now, but it probably could still be tweaked. But then the next show, just crickets and getting angry with the audience. And,
because you're great. They should be laughing at you.
And then the minute you get angry with the audience, they see it and they're like, oh. And then they're not laughing. And then,
but Artie and I have had this conversation. Well, he's told me, and I couldn't, and he says it, I couldn't agree more. He's like, I don't know any comedian that's funny that thinks they're funny. And it's not like we don't think we're funny, but the good comedians, like, this is what you could be doing a room of 1,000 people, right? So there's 1,000 people and everyone's laughing, right? Except one. You're not laughing. And we're looking at you. We're fixated on you because we're like, you're right. These 999 people are idiots. I'm not funny. I'm terrible. And you're just trying to and then you're mad at this person for not laughing. And what do? You turn the other 999 on you. You're like, fuck you. And then they all hate you because we can only fixate on what doesn't work. But that's how you get better. You don't get off stage and say, these 3 were great. You're like, why did this joke bomb?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you ever get that laugh that's
Never. Not once. Oh.
That inappropriate untimed laugh. You tell a Dan Frank joke, right? And you don't you get a
joke.
You get a laugh though for the wrong reason.
If you don't have the Dyer Van Frank people, just pick up the Cliff Notes. It's a sheet of paper that says shh.
But you get people that give you an uncomfortable laugh to those kind of jokes, right? But do you ever get that person in the audience that's like,
that's when you do jokes about race in the South. I'm sorry, but
then that gives that just gives you material right there to work with that guy.
Isn't that essentially why Chappelle lost it? Like somebody laughed at his joke the wrong way, like a white guy in a suit laughed at it.
I believe it, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he felt like socially irresponsible because he was doing those jokes when he was nobody, and then he was doing them when a lot of people were watching his show, like season 2 or 3 of that Chappelle show, and all of a sudden someone laughed the wrong way. You know what I mean? And
you don't know what goes on in these guys' minds, but yeah, I could see that setting someone off. But like I say it at the beginning of my set, someone said it to me once years ago, but you know how this business is, it resurfaces years later. And someone said, I take the punchline, I put it right in your face, and then it's yours. I'm not sitting here. It's like if I give you a gift and you don't like it, that's your problem. Like I really
That's a good way to think,
I
though.
really wanted you to like that punchline. And if you fold your arms
Yeah.
and say I don't like it, you're not breaking my heart because it's done and it was given to you with the best intentions. And if I do a joke like I just did, like Aunt Frank, and you're like, oh, he's jerking, well then you're really going out of. And again, these are jokes I'm telling at a comedy club, not at a Klan meeting, not on a bus station, not on an elevator where I don't
you're
think
trying to
anyone's
make
looking
people
when I'm
laugh.
hitting a woman. I'm trying to make you I'm trying to. Anyone can laugh at what's funny, and that's what. Getting back to your question 20 minutes ago about like these kids, what are they writing? They're writing that I never write to a purpose, and this is an argument. And I should be plugging Artie's podcast more because it really is great. I'm so fortunate that he's. I say I'm Artie Lange's Artie Lange to sit there and just every week, every day I sit right next to him 4 days a week. But he's like, well, what are you doing? Because he's like, what is your next goal? And I don't think I've never, but I finally accepted that I don't sit at point A and say, how do I get to point B? And this really is more the comic, are we a genius or a fool? But I don't. I sit at point A, and I didn't know I think I've always done this, but I struggled against it because I didn't realize it because I get overwhelmed looking at point B and all the, now more than ever, all the entropy that sits between A and B. And I'm like, maybe if I just focus on A, just really, and I mean this, just really be thankful for everything that's gotten me point A and just do it the best.
It's a pretty good way to
Point
look
B will
at
come
it.
to me. But here's how, now, I did it. I didn't do it on purpose. I realize it now because the videos we talked about. It's almost like we rehearsed this because now we're coming back to the videos. I didn't mean to wake you up, Angel. When I first started doing the football videos, like you can imagine what I thought. I'm like, I'm going to do these. People are going to love them. I'm going to get a sports talk show. That never happened.
No.
I've gotten so much out of them. Like you saw my sizzle reel. I did the NFL Network. I did an ESPN Craftsman ad because I am this sports entity. And now I do a daily, I'll say it so it sounds, I'll say it the flowery is, I do a nationally syndicated sports sheet daily for radio all over the country because it's on premier radio networks and it's called Geno Sports Sheet. And I say it's like Norman Rockwell. Remember, he would take a picture and then he'd take an actual photograph and paint over it?
Yeah.
I just take a sports story that's online, copy and paste it, and then just mush it into a half a page of Geno attitude with like a little dick joke inside. And I do it 5 days a week. And I got that because a buddy of mine saw my videos. Tom Kelly, he's like, he warms up the View, but he works for the radio thing.
Yeah.
Bumped into him drinking. It's more like I did a roast of Tony Siragusa for free, and Siragusa loved me. He's like, big dumb Italian. Why wouldn't he?
Right.
So he calls me a year ago. He's, yo, Gene, I'm up in Mohegan Sun. I got this golf tournament that I host every year. And I want you to come up and just warm up the auction. Just, do me a favor. He's like, I can't pay you. Come up 4 days. We smoke cigars. We get drunk. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, but they put you up and everything.
Yeah, everything. So I go up there, I'm drinking, and this kid Tom Kelly is working at the comedy club in the Mohegan Sun, and he's like, while I'm doing this, I get a text from him. He's like, Tom Kelly, remember me? I want to come. We get hammered on tequila that night. We're bullshit. We're catching up, and 2 days, like a month later, I go to text somebody, but your phone gives you options. I hit T and it's like, I'm like, I have to thank him again. I'm like, hey, great time 2 weeks ago, blah, blah. And he texts me back. He calls me back. He's like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. You would be perfect for this thing. They're looking for a guy to write sports for our radio service. Didn't even think of you.
Just like that, man.
See, that's the way
And that's me
like
being
that,
in point A, and then seeing what point B is. And I'm not, look, I can't do it any other way. Artie just does it. Artie, because you can visualize stuff. I believe this. I firmly believe this.
Yeah, The Secret, man.
The Secret sucks because it's just a rehash of it doesn't suck. It's a rehash of because I've read The Secret.
The philosophy doesn't suck.
The philosophy is perfect, but I didn't understand it because I'm dumb. But I found the books it's based on. Not like I searched, but I stumbled in. They found me. Power of the Subconscious Mind. I listened to it on audio. Same thing. And if you ever heard of an author, Pam Grout, she has a book called E Squared, and the sequel is E Cubed. E Squared is each one's like 3 pages long. It's 9 simple mental experiments you can do. That you can try. And I did all 9, and half of them, I'm not kidding, worked spot on. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, because
what's it like? What?
It's just energy. It's like you manifest what you want. And I don't want. If you read the book, you'll realize I'm not as crazy and new wave as I sound. Right. But I honestly believe getting away from all that, because if you know what I'm talking about, great. If not, read the book. Read 3 pages. You'll be like, he's a genius or he's an idiot, and you'll stop. But you really do get whatever you really want. And I realized that about a year ago because we sit in New York at tables with, not every day, but you do it once or twice, a couple times a year, you're sitting next to Chris Rock and Artie, and Louis C.K. And you're like, these guys are successful. And successful is making 6-7 figures, or 5 figures every show. And that's what you think until, you like I see Attell off stage and he's brilliant. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he's a genius. He's always thinking of the next joke, And I can't be anything other than this off stage. And then like a year ago, it just dawned on me. It's like you're like, Gene, you always have it. I always have enough money. Oh, somebody said, what do you have? Because they're like, oh, abundance. What do you have an abundance of? And I was drunk and kind of belligerent. I know, bear with me. And I said, you know what? I have an abundance of enough. I always have enough money. I always have enough time. Thank God I always have enough health and energy to do whatever I want. And once that hit me, it's like, why am I worried about having a lot of money? When I always do it, whatever I do, I always have enough money. One time, about 2 months ago, a buddy of mine, this guy, JP, he's like, yeah, you wouldn't do well with a lot of money, Gene. I can't see you sitting around with brokers and not just being like, spend it on Coke right now.
Jeez.
So that's kind of, I don't know what, and again, I will answer this question if you guys have 3 days. I don't know what young comics are doing nowadays. I know a lot of them are succeeding, but that's never been what I was drawn to. Like I get on stage every day. Well, every time I get on stage, which are 2 shows tonight at LOL Comedy Club. Yeah, the name is as gay as the room.
Do you really have a show today?
Yeah, there's 2 shows.
Where?
LOL Comedy Club, Midtown, 43rd and 9th. 11:35 and I think 12:35.
I've never heard of L.
There's a reason for that. It's like one of the dive. It's on the lower end.
Was it something else before?
I think it was a car wash. No, it's a studio space, but it's look at this point. Like I like doing LOL in rooms like that more.
Yeah.
Because when I do the stand or when I do the cellar, it's like I have to do my best stuff, or whatever the fuck I have, and you want to do well. But at LOL, clubs like that, you do whatever the fuck you want, and 90% of it works because you're not worried about it not working.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I've always just got on stage and done whatever I want to say. I'm not saying, hey, look, I'm not George Carlin. I'm like, I'll do whatever I want to do. You won't hold me back. But I just get up there and see where it goes,
Mm-hmm.
And people are always like, yeah, but if you, and I'm not saying this would work, but whenever someone even suggests, yeah, but if you just cleaned it up, if you didn't do any jokes about race or Anne Frank, and not like I do only those. I do a ton of material on my nephew now, who's 11, and it's cute stuff, and I love. But there was like, if you just had it cleaned it up, then maybe after 6 months you get like TV and you can do whatever you want. And I and I stumbled onto this explanation. I'm like, but if your act is your kid, which is all you have when you're 46 and you wear your hat backwards, and you just wanted to develop, you want to do everything you can and give it everything and just let it be. It's your kid. And I said the perfect example is, you have any kids, Mike?
No.
I say this, my buddy has 2 kids. I said, you want your kids to go to the best college? He's like, without a doubt. I'm like, of course. So suppose I said to you, once a week, every month, don't feed your kids. Don't. You take that money and you put it towards their college fund. Just once a week, don't feed them. But don't worry, that money in the long run is going to help them in college. And you would look at me like that. And you would say 2 things. Don't ever talk to me or my kids again.
And you call Dyfus, right?
And you're an absolute fucking jackass. And I'm not saying, and that's really how I feel about my act. Now, is my act going to change the world? Who knows? But do I love my act? Do I get off stage at LOL and say, and I'm great. I'm like, this is amazing.
But that's the number one thing. You're happy, you're enjoying it.
That's my healthcare. Because if I, I'm sorry, and I do tons of stuff on like healthcare now because the greatest thing you can do is laugh. We know that it's physically proven to heal the body. The body created itself. The body heals itself.
Right.
And 90% of the drugs they're prescribing, and I'll actually do one of my jokes because it's a great point, but I love this joke. It's one there was one. 90% of the drugs they're prescribing are just, we're the richest country in the world and the sickest because pharmaceutical companies make their fucking money. That's why I hate Obamacare. I don't know what it is, but I don't think anyone should be forced to get health care if they spend their life being fucking healthy. And 99% of them, 90% with some do things your body should do anyway. And it's like an atrophy. It's like the perfect one is, have you seen the commercial lately? And it's true, but it annoys me. And then it's the joke. If you're given to sudden fits of laughing or crying, they say you need to take a drug. They're saying if you suddenly have outbursts of laughter or crying.
I wish I had that problem.
If you have the laughter one, you're in the clear.
No, watch this. Yes, you're right, Mike, because think about it. The 2 greatest extremes of being alive that remind us we're alive, that we're not doing 30 miles an hour down the highway of life avoiding speed bumps, that we're not walking through a coma like they want us to do, are joy, which is laughter, and sorrow, which is tears, but either one. And Albert Camus once said, we should live to the point of tears, but we'll get to that absurdist, not existentialist in a moment. Those are the 2 extremes of being alive. And they don't want you to do that. And I say in the act, I'm like, fuck you. You should laugh every day. Yeah. You should cry every day. And then I say, have you ever done them both? at the same time. What a scramble that is. That happened to my girlfriend the other day. We're having sex and I farted, and in the middle of crying, she started laughing. But
Nice.
but that's like this is the stuff I just do on stage and see where it goes. But that's me living in point A and seeing what point B shows up.
But that's also very appreciated because there's so many comics now, like, and not to go on, we've talked about this
Please,
before.
I'm done talking.
But there's so many comics now that are say, like, look at what Seinfeld took a stand and they were
College.
like, they're like, we're not going to do colleges anymore because, like, oh, you can't do any black jokes, you can't do this, you can't do fat jokes, you can't do this. It's like comedy is comedy. Like, it's comedy.
Right, you
It's
shouldn't be
meant to
offended
laugh.
if you're paying to go laugh.
We're
right?
breeding people, for lack of a better word. That's what we're doing at colleges. We're teaching them to be offended. We're teaching them to give words power and not use their brains.
And another thing too,
In a way.
not to get crazy, but like the people throw around the word racism way too easy nowadays.
Yeah, man.
Way too easy, and it's just so aggravating. Because I remember growing up. I don't know if it was you. If it was you that was saying, like, growing up in the '90s. I don't remember people like. I don't remember it being so like people being worried about. It seems like now all of a sudden it's
ebb and flow, man. It's ebb and flow because late 60s, early 70s, there were crazy riots everywhere. Then the 80s, it was kind of subsided and things
And
got
90,
cool.
like me growing up, I
90s
never had. There was never like I went to an all black school, and I felt more, as comfortable as anyone would feel. Like I just.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this.
Well,
maybe it's this. Hey, I'm filming this. Hey, cop, you can't talk to me like that. You
Oh,
can't ask
there's
for
a
my
lot of that
ID.
going on, but and that kind of takes me to a reoccurring theme that we have on PBR all the time, D. And I want to ask Geno about this: is the social media aspect, the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, and comedy.
I Periscope. Did I tell you that?
did.
People?
Everybody, check it out. You're at Geno Bisconte, right? Right. It's your
Everything's
name.
Geno Bisconte, Genobisconte. But trust me, if you spell it, even there's not 9 Geno Bisconte, you'll find me. I'm not worried.
Do you have an issue if someone is Twitter famous, Vine famous, Facebook famous? Apparently, Derek D is now Facebook famous. By the way.
Oh, by the way,
Facebook
just
famous?
Now
I
it
just want everyone to know I am officially Facebook
How did
verified.
that? It just happened.
They
didn't
sent
know
me an
you could be
email saying you're
Facebook-
eligible for Facebook verification. Would you like? And I went through the process and said like what I do and stuff, and
That's
they,
it.
They verified me. Yeah.
All right.
That's great. I didn't know you could be Facebook verified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't really.
yeah.
But
I don't know. No, I know we're making fun of it, but I didn't know you
The
could.
joke was like, wow, I actually have real talents now, as opposed to the talents I didn't have before. I had a blue check mark next to my name.
Yeah.
So these comics coming up that are not, they don't work the circuit. They're not in the comedy clubs, but they're killing it on social media. How do you feel about that?
Or on YouTube.
I think you get what you give. If I may steal one from the New Radicals, that one. It's a perfect example, and this is how I answer every question. I stall with a story, and then I stumble into what I mean. But I had he wasn't even my friend. I'm sorry, he was a douche that moved up here, and he was a friend of mine. He was a good friend of mine, had a guy that moved up here from Arizona, and he's a comedian. He never did comedy once. He was all over Twitter. He would write tweets, and people think that's comedy now, and God bless Comedy Central for coming out with At Midnight, because that gives these
man.
people a voice. But you will never see someone sitting at the desk, with I almost said Letterman, with Fallon or Kimmel saying, well, I started on Twitter and I was so funny on Twitter.
You don't think?
I don't think.
You don't think you'll see that?
don't
well,
think-
a straight up
You
stand-up
tell me
comic.
right now, a straight stand-up comic that doesn't have a desire for that doesn't have a need, that doesn't have an illness for immediate feedback, that doesn't genuinely live off the energy you get when a joke fucking crushes and when a joke misses, and you sit there with your friends trying to make it better because you want to make people laugh. You want to give joy, not get attention. And that's why I'm telling you.
Oh, that's a
that
great,
anyone
man.
that,
That's
I'm a
great.
fucking genius. That's why I'm telling you that anyone that thinks they're famous, and this guy kept doing that. You know where he is now? Back in fucking Arizona, working on his 3 millionth follower and fucking bussing tables.
There is a value in that, though.
What's the value in what?
There's a value in followers. Like,
Oh, there's no question there's a value in followers. There's no question. But is the question, is there a value in followers? Because we can knock that out right now. Yes. Or is the question, does having 3 million followers make you more of a comedian than, say, some schlub with 2,600 who lives in Brooklyn? No, it doesn't. Because he would always say, like, you got to do this to get to it. Like, perfect example. You'll love this. He goes, you got to start tweeting on At Midnight. I said, you know where I am? At midnight in the city, doing shows at midnight.
Right. Dude, I'm actually doing it.
I'm doing comedy, working on my craft at midnight. I'm not on a couch at midnight.
How come someone like you, though, you're on Artie Lange's podcast, you have all kinds of stuff. How come you have 2,500 Twitter followers. Is that because you don't subscribe to it or you don't take care in it?
I'm not good at social media. There's no question about it. I'm not good at there. That's
And do you think it matters? Do you like
social media without a doubt matters? Like you talk to people who are successful, like Attell and Artie, and they're always saying Comedy Central wants you to tweet. They want you to do this. Like Attell has a guy do his Twitter for him. Might even be a girl. I don't know, because you need to have the Twitter going. I've never done Twitter like that. I've done Twitter like just a giant text message with people. You know, now that I'm. God, excuse me. Now that I'm on Artie and I get a lot more people, you know, like tweeting, half of them, most of them love you, but that's another problem with Twitter. People suddenly think they matter. On behalf of everyone who's done something with their life, who has thrown away 15 to 20 years of their life doing stand-up because they want to make a difference, they want to make people laugh, and they've earned the right to say something on stage or on a podcast. You who have a Twitter account that actually sat there and took 5 minutes off of porn or your Pinterest or whatever the fuck you did.
It's true,
to
man.
make a Twitter account to tell me I'm not funny or you don't get my Aunt Frank joke. You don't fucking matter. Do something with your life that matters.
Yeah.
You don't matter. Oh, I have a voice. No, you don't. You have an internet password.
And a connection.
Okay? And thank you for subscribing to this and finding me so I can tell you to suck my internet dick because you don't matter. I'm out there trying to make a point. Oh, when he does a Holocaust joke, what? I want 1944 to happen again? No, you're a fucking moron.
And the anonymity.
The most tragic event in human history, you could argue, is the Holocaust. And if you're smart, and if you take away the adjectives, you'll realize all it was humans letting humans kill other humans. Oh my God, suddenly we're all at fault. Yes. So I put that in your face rather than tell you about my latest gig on Guy Code where I texted my girlfriend and my balls itched. Kill yourself. You don't matter. You have to want to say something. You have to want to make a difference. And if you think making a difference is having more followers than me on Twitter, then that's your difference. But what do you get the next day? What do you get?
Right.
Do followers matter? Yes. Do the people with all those followers matter?
No.
Usually not.
I like it.
Usually
I like
not.
where you go with it.
Yeah.
You were just on Guy Code?
Never.
Oh, sorry. I thought
Don't get me wrong. And do not misunderstand me because, after that vitriol, you would think that. But no, there's the Guy Code comedians. I have no problem with any comedian. I have a problem with the people that are thinking like that's comedy. You know, because, and I'm not saying it's not, but old school, think of all the comedians that are on Guy Code and Girl Code, and I'm just being lazy thinking of that. Like, I'll tell you a couple that are
clip
on
shows, man. You're just talking clip
Derek
shows.
Gaines and Chris DeStefano. They're great comedians. They're all great comedians. They are. It's not the comedian on the show. I know I'm trying to dig out of a hole I probably dug that I didn't mean to. But the comedians are great, but it's just the format of the show is making us lazy as Americans. Everything's a clip show. Right. Let me tell you, I have no attention span. Dude, I do 5-minute videos. I'm amazed when I get 2,000 hits. Like, this is a fucking book.
You don't have to set it up. You don't have to, like, you're working a room. You got to set that room up, or you got to get the feel of the room. That doesn't exist.
And I think to go back for a second to, like, the Jimmy Fallon thing or being on the, like, he might be like, and this person has a bunch of funny vines or something, or a bunch of funny, like, Instagrams or whatever that is. But it's nothing to we still hear you, Geno.
I apologize because we're working on the box thing. I'm working on our box thing. And I want the clues to be perfect because I'm really enjoying myself. All right, go on. But I was listening. I apologize.
No, but I was saying, like, there's still nothing.
Then maybe she'll get Daddy another beer.
I'm talking, damn it. There's nothing to be said for. There's something to be said for the actual stand-up, for someone going into a room in front of people with a microphone and a spotlight and just, putting themselves out there, to actually be
bearing their soul, if I may.
Laughed at, or B, laughed at.
To be judged, to be totally judged. But that's comedy, and people are forgetting that. And you don't get that unless you go to these clubs. And
that's the thing. And I'm not mad at these.
Thank you so much.
I'm not mad at these, like, internet, the internet comedians or the people on, Vine and all that stuff. It's just like, know where you're at in the space. Know, and don't be like, because I don't even do stand up enough to put me on even a level of Geno or a lot of comedians I know. I do it when I get booked. What?
I said a very low level in my case.
But no, I wouldn't consider that. But
I love my act,
But I mean, that's where I'm at with it. If you're a stand-up comedian, you stand up in front of people.
That's it. People seem to forget that. People seem to think.
That's a good point, man.
But it's all relative. Like, this is what I talk about with the Artie podcast, which I cannot stress enough. Like, people should listen to it. And they're like, well, it's $7 a month. And you can look at it one of two ways. relative to what's on the internet, that's a ridiculous amount of money because everything's free. You look at Marin, great. Burr, great. Corolla, great podcast. Free. But they're once a week and they have sponsors. Now, Artie has no sponsors. Artie doesn't. And he's 4 days a week. And he charges $6.95, say $7. Do the math. 28 shows, 40 cents an episode, which is nothing. 40 cents a day, or if you do it over the course of a month, 25 cents a day. That's nothing. If you look at it relative to what you're getting, it's absolutely a steal, okay? And you can get a free month now, seriously, if you go to artiequitter.com, ARTIE673 coupon code, ARTIE673 coupon code. You know how that works. They take your credit card information, free the first month, and then when you're involved, you don't think enough to cancel it, and we start charging you. But I'm serious. If I told you 40 cents a day for this, that's nothing. But we are, and I'm not blaming anyone because I agree. You're trained to think like, well, $7, why am I paying for anything? Because Artie says whatever he wants. We say whatever we want. And I don't mean like, oh, we're rebels who say whatever we want, but I'm just explaining why. Even when you're serious, don't kid yourself. I used to do the Pharrell show, and you'd have people coming in every 5 minutes, exaggerating, but it'd be like, you can't say that. We're on satellite radio. You can't. Same thing. Artie tried sponsors at first, like, yeah, we're pulling that because, you know, Geno made a joke about Hitler's secretary. If Hitler had a secretary, do you think she'd answer the phone and say, and this is a running gag on the podcast, Artie hates it, I think it's great. Do you think she'd answer the phone and say, I'm sorry, the Fuhrer can't come to the phone. He's been putting out fires all day. Now... Here's the thing with that guy. As a secretary, you might think she's speaking in the colloquial way. Well, he's very busy. He's putting out fires. Or it is Hitler, who's been known to burn a Jew or 6 million. So maybe those are the fires he's putting. But you don't know. You don't know because it's Hitler's secretary. You don't know.
So it's going to go either way.
What is that coupon code again, one more time?
What's that?
What's the coupon code for the Artie Lange podcast?
ARTIE673.
You got that?
It's also all the Hitler you can handle. I'm kidding.
All right, check it out. We want to play a little game. This music you're hearing, this sexy-ass music, is a game we like to play called Top or Bottom. I'm going to give you 2 topics. You're going to tell me if these 2 things were in a relationship, which one would be on the top, which one would be on the bottom, and we're going to round table it. I have a feeling that...
I love it already.
Number 1, right off the top, I know is going to have to get cut. Frank's going to make me cut it from the episode, our producer, but... Let's go with it anyway. Top or bottom, Adolf Hitler or Anne Frank?
Oh, my God. Tell me, Hitler is way on top. Way on top.
Jeez.
Why?
What's that?
Why?
Because he is a self-hating Jew. So he's going to get on top of Anne Frank and give her a little something, something.
He took it there.
Ah, dirty.
Anne Frank on top.
Right? I can't even go anywhere else with that.
Why would you put Anne Frank on top?
No, we're not actually meaning they're on top of each other.
Although by the end, she was so skinny, you could do whatever you want with her on top of you.
Top or bottom, number 2.
Is that too much? Because she lost a lot of weight
Being
in the prison camp. I checked with Hitler's secretary. She was like 85.
being Twitter verified or being Facebook verified?
Twitter verified is way on top.
I would probably agree.
You have to agree.
Yeah, Twitter on
Facebook. That's like Facebook has butt-fucked MySpace, and now Twitter is making Facebook its bitch.
Well, I agree, but since I just got Facebook verified, I'm gonna go Facebook verified on top and Twitter on the
Gotta
bottom.
take care of
Thanks,
your own.
Who do you think put that one in this?
Did I?
Probably
think you did.
Frankie. Probably Frankie.
I think you did. I gotta say, Twitter verified is definitely on top, right? That's where all the power's at. Is Facebook dead? I mean, it's almost dead. Like soccer moms and
Facebook is not, like for entertainers like us, it's more Twitter than Facebook.
But it's not. It's definitely not dead.
No, it's not going anywhere. It's great. It's great. Facebook is more for normal people, for civilians.
Right. Like we put up a post. This show comes out and we advertise this. It doesn't go to half the people that follow us unless you pay. Like, what good is that for the entertainer?
Yeah, what Facebook is just trying to make money. That's all they do. But all I do now with my Twitter posts is they automatically go to my Facebook. So I can't even keep track of Facebook because it's.
I gotta connect that too because
and then just forget about Facebook. Like every now and then you'll see something, but.
Well, see, I use my Facebook a lot, but I use like my personal Facebook, which there's a lot of people that I don't know. But my page got verified, so I feel like I need to like do more.
You do. You better.
Yeah.
I mean,
you get any perks for that?
The email said there's like something where I could this app. It's called like Facebook Mentions. You get access to that. I haven't even explored it yet. This.
All right,
Facebook Mentions.
That's great for radio. Top or bottom, number 3. Steady.
I'm on a camera right here.
Steady gig or road gig?
Steady gig, I would say right now. Steady gig gig's a vague term, but steady gig When you get older, it's steady gig. When you get younger, road gig. You know, for me, 46 hat backwards, full head air.
But steady
gig.
But steady gig could be
Kids?
No kids.
steady gig could be anything. Could be hosting a show, a stand-up gig at a casino. Forever.
Sure. I said gig matters, but if you want to be, but generally speaking, as comedians, who are we kidding? Steady gig is like Wednesday night room or my sports writing sheet gig. That's great.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, dude, road gig. I'm a traveling comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, steady gig on top, definitely, because, it gives you the opportunity or it gives you the means to do those road gigs as you want. Things come up and you want to jump on it, you can, because you have that steady gig.
Or things come up and you don't have to jump on them, which is great.
Right.
Like Anne Frank in Hitler's case.
Steady.
Oh, shit.
Derek's like, why do I hang out with him? He's a dick.
No. Steady gig on top. But you're right, road gigs are fun.
Oh, when we were
Traveling.
younger, oh my God.
Top or bottom, the entertainment industry now or the entertainment industry 15 years ago?
Without a doubt, it's got to be 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It was easier to do. It was more.
Was it?
I think it had more clout. Like look at the state of late night TV. You had Carson and Letterman back then. Look at sitcoms. Look at All in the Family. Could you imagine if All in the Family was on today? The shit they said.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and it gets. I'll even take it a step deeper and say, You had family time around the TV. You do not have that now. Entertainment 15 years ago, way on top.
You're a when I was your age kind of guy,
I am becoming
right?
that, dude. I am. The more I hang out with my one brother and my niece and nephew, it's like I thank God every day that I was raised the way I was. I do. I'm not saying other people have better or worse, but I just wake up every day. I'm like, this is great. My nephew's like 11. No matter what I do. We're comics. We wake up, we're like, what am I doing? No matter what I do, my nephew's like, oh no, Uncle Geno, you're pretty much the coolest guy that's ever lived. What'd you do last night, Uncle Geno? I slept in my car. That's amazing. I just think there's nothing better than like that. Like the entertainment. Like I used to sit and watch Columbo with my dad. Columbo.
Right.
And whatever, if you look at my Twitter feed right now, somebody heard that and that's my Twitter image. It's me photoshopped on Columbo. Because I'd watch it with my dad and he'd catch me in ridiculous ways. And I was just turned 13 or 14 and I would say, Dad, there's no way Columbo catches him. He'd be like, shut the fuck up, turn this stupid show off. But he knew I loved that.
Yeah.
Do you think the entertainment now has opened the door for more talent to be recognized, or do you think it flooded the market with talentless hacks?
I think it's a little of both. I think talent is a much broader image, right? A much broader definition of what you need to. You have 800 channels on TV now. You need reality stars. That's a thing. You need, TV. You need tons of writers for TV. You could be a writer for a reality show, and you could be damn fucking good at it. God bless you. You deserve every penny. But people would look at you 15 years ago and like, a reality what? You're writing for telling people how to live their life? No. So, there's a lot more talent that's needed. Thank God that the industry has expanded so much. But, it's like pitching. It's like pitching in the major leagues. It's like pitching. Remember, you back when there was only 26 teams? You had more, it was harder to, you didn't hit as many home runs. You didn't have as much average. Then you water it down with all these guys. Well, you need all this extra talent.
Yeah.
But you've lowered the gene pool.
Yeah.
Per se.
The Geno
pool.
I used to write an article for a Delaware magazine called the Geno
pool.
It was pictures and dick jokes.
That sounds good.
It was a gift.
No, I definitely think of 15 years ago on top. Because think about it, how'd you see comedians or watch stand-up comedy 15, 20 years ago with the family around the TV, or you just watched
HBO specials.
You either went and saw it live, you either saw it on TV. That's it. Didn't really, or DVD. You bought a DVD, or you bought or a CD, a tape, a VHS. But I don't know. I think it was more pure back then, and maybe even we're going more than 15 years ago. But now, what you just said was really accurate. You said you were like, it's a little bit
Every now and then I hit. You know what I mean?
Broken clock.
It's like I took shitter theory.
Like watered down.
I went right before this episode.
So you're nice and light.
On fire.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and it's even what we talked about. Like the kids couldn't wait to rush out and get the Cosby album or the prior album, and you got that album, you got that vinyl. It's not like I just downloaded Cosby's album. That's great, but it's not the same rush. It's not the same visceral. Oh my God!
Or like a cassette tape, like the Jerky Boys, or like the Adam Sandler tape.
Boys,
I mean,
like that. I'd be like, oh man, me and my cousins would just all listen to it, just crack. Like, he's all gonna laugh at you.
I used to buy albums and I'd sit there or CDs really, and when I got home, I would play them. and I would read the inserts and look at the pictures, man.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist
Billy Joel,
anymore,
52nd Street. That's the first album I ever bought.
You know,
I was sitting there on the thing with the sneakers and the lyrics on the back. Oh,
and going to what you were saying, Geno, about family. Like my mom is the
you
reason
don't have to tell me about your mom.
Whoa! Well, she's dead, man. Thanks for that. No, I'm kidding. She's not dead. She'll be so mad when she hears this thing. But she's the reason I have a love for, why I work in the industry, because she used to, like, when HBO came out in the VCR, she would tape everything that came on and she would catalog it. And to this day in the basement, it's cataloged. And if you have a book, she has a book. And she was the reason I fell in love with the media.
Oh, wow.
God bless your mother, because you know how I started? My dad would DVR The Simpsons. And when my brother would come to visit me at University of Delaware, he'd bring all the
DVR.
Tape. I said DVR. That's a fuck. He would tape them on a VHS cassette
DVR,
and he would take them to me. And my brother would be like, "Pop recorded these for you," and it's just
that's
great.
awesome.
It's
my
great.
roommate in college graduated a year before me, Captain Scurvy, and he handed me a bunch of VHSs, with his handwriting on it. He's like, "Take this." Every episode of Seinfeld, and I was like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing in the world," And now it's like, Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Every
it's on
episode.
Hulu.
I'll watch it right here.
Yeah, exactly.
With all that being said, I believe that the entertainment industry now is better.
Why? That's great. Why?
Because there's more. More
content?
There's more shit, man.
Look what we're doing right now.
Right, this.
We're part of the entertainment industry.
Like cats,
I
cats
think this just won the argument for 15 years ago.
You hypocrites.
Well, you're right.
But I
There's
get
just more. No, there's just more. And
you're right, and
there's more
it's real
options.
time. It's you can anytime, any place, anywhere. You're right. That's a great point.
There's just more shit. And if I want to watch Carlin, I could just pull them up.
it's
I could
great.
pull them up. So, top or bottom, product placement or subscription?
Wow, I'm just gonna say subscription. I like subscription because I don't think enough people subscribe to the Artie Lange podcast at artiequitter.com. Use coupon code ARTIE673. I would say subscription. I mean,
You just did product placement, though.
that's
I mean, not to hit you with that one, but
you nailed it. But I think I would say subscription because it's nice to have a little stability in my life to be like, all right, well, here's something that I'm planning on doing every week or every month.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel like I'm more grounded, I would think.
yeah. Jake.
Oh, man. I think subscription because you could be more real. You could be. I mean, product.
Why do you think us not having paid subscription holds you back in any way? Like you're saying anything different? You know what I mean?
that's a tough
Like
one.
Gianni's Pizzeria, right? That's our sponsor. They're on our website.
Yeah.
That's product placement. We eat their pizza. We show the box behind me on the camera. We talk about them.
I thought we didn't show the box at all on this.
No, that's a different box.
I'm
But the
sorry.
pizza box.
She kicked me. Finally, wearing her down.
You know what I'm saying? Like if
Your eyes say no, but the restraining order says I mean it. We're back. We're back. Is my mic hot?
the funny thing is that
Hot mic up here.
he's talking to our producer and it's a man.
a very handsome man.
I don't know. I cut you off.
No. You were saying, is it easier? Is it
No, like you can do anything you want now. What would subscription based make it any different?
No, I guess you're right. I'm saying at a big scale. On a big
Like
scale,
TV versus cable.
If right. I mean, if your sponsor is Poland Spring and you're like, I hate hydration, and they're like, you can't say that, but that's a dumb example.
I don't know. I thought it was. I followed it. And that must make it dumb if I. Yeah, I get it totally. Oh, that's a terrible.
So I don't know. I guess a subscription on top.
I'll put product placement on top because that's what we do. Like even DVRs, man. People go through
I have no
the
problem with
commercials.
product placement, though. I mean, I have to do it on FLD too as well.
Yeah,
so.
if you're not putting it in the episode, nobody's watching. No
I
sponsors.
agree. I agree with that.
Last one, top or bottom. Geno's picks or the Artie Lange podcast.
Hi-yo.
Right now, the Artie Lange podcast is by far on top because it allows me to enjoy doing Geno's picks more. And
That goes right back to what we said, man.
And
road gig versus steady
without a
gig.
doubt, and trust me, if you're following me, then I'll be talking about my picks on the Artie Lange podcast. But I mean, Geno's picks are just they're one of the. It really helps me understand how lucky I am to do what I do because I did them for no other reason than I really like doing them. And every year, never got
they're
paid.
good.
And it's like the universe. It's like we said with the universe. The universe finally cracked and said, "Look, you're going to keep doing this, aren't you? You won't. No matter how many times you get shot down.
Look you up.
Yeah, we're going to start letting you get paid for it." And I got the sports thing for getting drunk with Tony Siragusa, and that's why they're my pet baby. They're the best. But it's definitely artiequitter.com because the big reason I got artiequitter.com is part of the point A that was Geno's picks that got me to point B that's Artie Quitter, without a doubt.
I like the whole point A, point B thing.
Really
I mean, that's why you do things, right?
It really is.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I mean? Fastlane Daily brings you to Pizza Beer Revolution, which Pizza Beer Revolution may bring you to, whatever.
It brought you me, buddy. We're hanging out again.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to do Fastlane Daily again. Even if I just show up and be your Ed McMahon and laugh at everything. I love that.
Level D Nights doesn't exist anymore. That's a whole other story. We'll talk about that later.
Let's. I'm going to say
I
Artie
brought
Lange,
that show. I got that show canceled, didn't I?
No, you were great on it. That wasn't the reason.
I enjoyed it.
I put Artie Lange's podcast on top.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that a little bit, man. When did that start for you?
Celebrated our 100th episode Friday. Today was our 101st
And you started
episode.
with him from the get, right?
No, I did not. Joe Matarese and Chris Cotton started with him.
Oh, yeah.
But Matarese stopped doing it because it became too much for him because he lives in Westchester, and it just became too much for him to keep driving down. And like Artie can't pay anyone right now. I probably shouldn't even say that, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It's like, because it's just getting started, but anyone would be an idiot not to sit alongside, to be the sidekick of Howard Stern's sidekick is nuts, but he couldn't do it anymore. And people are like, you took a seat. I'm like, let me point something out to you people, okay? And not you people. I know you don't have minorities listening to the podcast, but I mean, you people that complain. He shouldn't be doing it because this is a guy that's a great comedian, and he's one of the few comedians that actually loves his wife and kids. So he didn't like leaving them and paying $50 a day to be exhausted driving through New York. So Artie, after about 40 episodes, is like, well, I'll just get Geno on because I used to always do his TV show, you know? And after a couple appearances, 2 weeks, he's like, I want you on every day. I want you on every day. Sit right here, do what you do. I'm like, okay.
How great. Yeah.
One of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten in the business. One of the greatest guys and one of the nicest guys in the biz.
Whether you're paid or not, you'd be stupid to say no to that.
And
You'd
that's what
have
I
to
said.
take that.
I could headline any room in the country. I could not fill a single room in the country. That's just a fact because no one knows who I am yet. But this is helping me get my name out there, all while still working on my act, all while still being able to do the picks, be able to do the sports sheet. I do a Friday podcast every day, the Geno's Picks podcast, and it's just like they call it Free Fridays now because Artie's Monday through Thursday, and then I just give the listeners something on Friday, which is just me.
But it's on the same channel.
Oh no, mine's just free. Mine is just it's at genospicks.com. And
okay.
Again, GENOSPICKS. Just go there, and it's great. And
my philosophy has always been saying no to nothing because you never know where it's going to lead, man. And you definitely don't say no to Artie Lange.
No, and you don't say no to anything you want to do. I love doing it. I have more fun on there than I'm laughing every day. It is arguably, it's the best daily podcast on the internet. And I'm only saying that because there's probably some out there, but I don't know any daily podcasts. Tell me some podcasts that are on the internet every day, not every week.
Yeah.
Every day that aren't. Don't get me wrong. That aren't like ESPN rehashes.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's not a show. Tell me something that's on the internet every day that isn't a show that's just recorded off ESPN or some other channel where they're like, all right, we'll upload it as a podcast.
Yeah, nobody. It's tough. I mean, we launched.
Sure, there's some, but none that leap to mind.
No. And none that I listen to that are in my queue, not one. And we're twice a week, and that's that's tough to do. I'm sure Artie has a tech team.
He always opens up by saying, welcome to we've crunched the numbers, it's the most unsuccessul podcast in internet history. I'm like, did you carry the 6? The most unsuccessful podcast.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Artie Lange's also he's also he's huge. He's on Jimmy Fallon. He's been on the Tonight Show already twice.
He's touring all the time.
He's touring all the time.
We're doing the Montreal Comedy Festival at the end of the month. We're taking the podcast up there. Well, he's taking us up there with the podcast because he's hosting a couple shows.
You say you're part of the team.
I know, but he's hosting the Dirty Show, and they're like, we want you to do a podcast, and Artie is so fucking loyal. It's so. He's like, well, you got to bring up my people. It's like, well, we don't have money for you. He's like, I'm not doing the podcast alone. He said exactly what you said, Derek. He's like, it's my podcast. It's not me. It's my podcast. So if you want me to do the podcast, then you got to get my guys up there. And they're like, okay.
Does he have video for his pod?
No, we don't video it. Do you think that makes a difference?
People love. I got to be honest with you, man. We launched an episode today with Milana of VineTube.
VineTrib.
What is that now?
She's the AT&T girl, Lily.
Those commercials.
She's in
those
Other
AT&T
Space.
commercials?
Oh no, but VineTrib. What is that?
That's her last name is Russian.
No, that.
Oh, the chick that does the AT&T girl?
Yeah, welcome to the conversation. Holy shit.
But I thought when you say VineTrib, I thought.
Oh, you thought it was like a new.
I thought it was like an app like Vine.
I have a speech impediment.
No,
60% of everything I say is
no
wrong.
marble mouth. All I'm saying is
that's her right there.
Yeah, I know she is. She's hilarious. So she was in here today.
She was here. She
week.
launched today. We had her last week.
Launched where?
The episode launched today.
What episode?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Vine Trib?
Yeah.
Now he's fucking with you.
Yeah, I know what he's doing.
I don't know what
He's-
Vine Trib is.
That's her last name.
Got it.
Most of the people that, like, you know,
She's single?
yes, man.
Is
And
she?
yes.
She is, well,
I don't know, because I would have maybe
You want, let's, for this,
no,
for
she
this-
wouldn't do you.
put an angle
She wouldn't
on-
do you.
Oh, this guy, every time we have a girl in the pocket,
is not- this is
hashtag thinks you liked it.
This is not me being
is it?
cocky. You're too hot. You're too clean cut. Me, it would just be like one train wreck. She'd like getting back at her father and screaming. And after we got done, she'd call him up saying, "Why didn't you hug me more?" That's what she wants.
Oh, okay.
Quick in and out. You're a whole thing. She'd be crazy to lose you. You're like wholesome. Mom will like you. You're your own worst enemy.
Okay,
right?
I guess so. I don't know.
Trust me, I know women.
Most of the people, most of the listeners were all about the video, man. They love the fact
Yeah.
we're one of the only podcasts I think that puts up both an audio and video content.
I think it's good. That's
So
good.
when you
Nick.
have
Well,
someone,
I'm sure it's great. This is an amazing setup. I mean, I think we could periscope a little if we wanted to, but I just, it's Artie's call, you know, and I think Artie is so old school. He's so entertainment 15 years ago. It's his radio show, but
Yeah.
he's doing it via podcast.
Yeah.
He's doing it by his own rules that once again, this is what, and look, we're not on there saying twat that often, but it's uncensored. We say whatever we
say
want,
whatever
we do,
we
and we
want.
expect you to be intelligent enough that if we make a joke about race or religion, we're not saying, oh my God, we should get rid of all these people. We're saying, isn't it fun to laugh at people that live alongside us? As opposed to people that don't in other fucking countries.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, well, we just really want to make sure we know who's black, white, Jewish. Everyone in this country, because we let them in, because it's fucking America. Go to China if you want to go somewhere where you don't have to worry about something that doesn't look exactly like you. Oh, we got to be careful. There might be some Jews in the room. There should be. It's America.
don't you think at this point, man, like Howard Stern, for example, I don't know if that's a touchy subject or whatever, but
No.
why is someone like that not doing a podcast subscription based and just keeping it at all like
Stern?
Yeah, how much, you know.
From what I've heard, and I've done everything involved with the Howard Stern channels except Meet Howard Stern. I've never been on a show. Like I've done, I did all the other shows. I did Miserable Man. I did Pharrell. Like I've worked with Shuley. I've worked with Sal and all those people. I did a roast of Robin at the Frost. But this is just me based on what I've heard. I mean, he says he has a problem with podcasts. He bashes
he does.
them
He bashes them, but
because
why?
He does kinda bash them, yeah.
Because he's old school. And he is the guy. And this is not me giving you some newsflash. He's the guy. He was the last one through the door on radio. I heard that phrase. Like Seinfeld was the last one through the door on TV that made all the money. Because he should be able. People that bitch and say he's not the same on Sirius. He should be able to go on Sirius for 3 hours a day and clip his toenails for what he did for the medium of radio,
yeah.
for the ground, for the path he's broken. And he did all that. And he made radio this amazing thing. And now you want him to go do podcasts? No, this is his world. This is his domain he created, and while it crumbles around him, because, and not through anything he did, just because he's not leaving it. He made it. Do a podcast. Fuck you. I'm not going to go to what's taking away from the very thing I built because people are lazy.
Until the money runs out.
Yeah, well,
His money ain't running out.
Thank you.
Not his money, but the money in radio, you know?
And when it runs out, it'll all be running to him. He'll be sitting there with the basket at the bottom of the thing. All right, you're
Well,
out of
that's my
money,
point.
radio.
That's my
You're out
point.
of money, radio. Daddy's
True or
leaving.
false? When he leaves satellite radio goes away forever.
Wow. I don't know, but I would be leaning towards true.
I wouldn't say it goes away forever, but like I'd probably cancel my subscription if
You absolutely would.
Yeah.
Because you can get anything on your phone on a podcast for free.
Yeah.
Why pay for that and have to put up with the headache of running shit through
That
your
is
car?
my day now because I live in East Harlem now. And I just wake up. I friggin' have all the podcasts from ESPN downloaded. I listen to like the Thundering Herd. Love the Thundering Herd. Listen to that or Mike and Mike replay. By the time those are over, I'm in Hoboken,
Yeah.
And
It
that's
flies
it.
right by.
Flies right by. On the way back, I'll listen. Dude, my one buddy, this guy, Vilmos, he does a podcast called The Spew. And, comics, we just hate ourselves. No matter what we say, we're like, you stink. He just, somehow it started out with him, and then he'd say something like, yeah, that was stupid. And it's suddenly he's two voices. He's not crazy, but it's called The Spew, and it's just him hating on himself. And there's times where he'll say something wrong. He'll try and pronounce a word. It happened once, but it was he tried to pronounce a word 3 different times and kept saying it wrong. And I swear, the other voice just said the word, you mean perspicacity? It was like, I know it wasn't the word, but it was something like that. And it's like, he's not, I hope he's listening. He's not smart enough to do something like that. It's literally, he split his brain in two. And it's just a comic hating on him. It's just a comic hating on himself, but it's brilliant. Like I listen to that a lot, but that's what you do. You listen to podcasts because you get tired of music. You know, it's just
they play the same shit over and over again, right?
TV. There's only 5 shows on TV right now. They're just played on a constant loop.
I don't even know how someone could listen to like before Howard goes on in the morning and I'm driving a train, I'll put on like Z100 and just for like that Z Morning Zoo or whatever, and like it's like 5 minutes of them talking, then boom, commercials for 7 minutes. Yep. 5 minutes of talk, boom. It's like ugh, it's the worst.
How many?
Because they need all that sponsor just to keep it alive.
How many areas is radio still a viable thing? I'll tell you where I go every year, Anchorage, Alaska, and that sounds ridiculous, but it's still a big thing there. Like, you'll still go there, and you'll plug your shows for the week, and you'll go into a studio, like serious, and you'll do 3 different shows, and then they'll drive you the next day to another radio station. You do 3 different shows.
Wow.
Like, it matters there, which is great. Love it. And I'm Filato, our producer on the Artie Lange show, says Chicago is still kind of like that. You know, it's a
Really?
I don't know if Philly's like that anymore, you know? It's where I started out. I don't know. I don't know what goes on with it. I don't know.
There'll come a time, mark my words, that Howard Stern will do a podcast.
There will not.
I would have to disagree with that, but okay, just because I listen and I know what he says about him.
There will not. Rephrase. I would be amazed if he ever set foot or mouth or hair on a podcast.
What do you think about throwing a digital egg at Howard Stern?
What is that?
We like to throw, when you were a kid, you ever throw eggs at people?
Yes.
Okay, we like to throw digital eggs at people, so we give out their Twitter handle, and then we hashtag eggs, and all of our listeners throw digital eggs at them, pictures of eggs, whatever. Like
mainly at me, actually.
Well, we do it to Derek a lot. If we did it to we don't want to do it to Howard Stern.
Not on my episode.
Why don't we throw him at Geno? No,
throw him at me. I'll take the followers.
All right.
But actually, it's actually not a bad thing. It's
more like giving love.
Yeah, like they'll draw like a face and a smile on an egg and send it to me or Mike or whatever.
They can egg me. I'd love that.
At Geno Bisconte.
At Geno Bisconte.
Hashtag eggs, and let's make it good.
Yeah. GenoBisconte.
All right, you can we follow him. You could find him from ours.
Hashtag daddy.
You got time for a game?
I love a game.
Oh, you ready for this one?
Is it a game of chase quarters?
Chase quarters.
Remember that?
Is that like quarters?
Okay, so this is. Explain to me how this game works.
All right, it's a game we like to play. It's called What's in the Box? So basically.
Oh, God, no! What's in the box?
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my buddy Dan used to do a
Exactly.
trivia show. And he would, it's just the dumbest, but I love it.
It's so
cheesy.
terrible.
You see you just made my
so
week.
happy.
Oh, God, no! What's in the box? Oh, God!
You got to YouTube that, man. Just watch the shit people have done to that scene.
Are you kidding?
Oh, what? Come on, you haven't done it? They do remixes.
I'm a megalomaniac who thought I was the first person ever to think of that. And the more I hear about it, I'm like, no, that's just a brilliant. God, no!
So usually one of us puts an item in a box, and we're going to give out hints or a clue to what's in the box. We round table it. This time, our producer Frank asked you, Geno, to bring something that's going to be in a box, and Derek and I are going to have to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to start out by giving us one hint. We'll ask you questions, more hints, and that's how the game goes.
Okay, so
and the game's called What's in the Box?
God!
We're gonna write down.
So I'm Kevin
cheating.
Spacey.
You are Kevin Spacey. Well, you're the UPS driver in this.
Now, these are the questions. Now, you are a professional, Frankie, so you know this is the proper order to tease it out. Okay.
Can I have a card? Because I want to be able to write down my answer because Derek likes to cheat.
How do I cheat?
Yeah, you're a cheater.
I'm never a cheater.
And then I do the description last.
Wouldn't the description be first?
No.
Right, yeah.
No. That's going to give it away.
Don't give it away.
Okay.
Well, it's like two.
I don't know if Frank told you this.
Actually, it's not. You're right. I apologize.
Whoever gets it right gets to keep what's in the box. Did he
That's
tell you
fantastic. That's fantastic.
He's like,
And then I explain why I put it in the box, right?
It's like it's my car keys.
I've spent hours explaining to women why I've put it in the box. Well, you fell asleep. Well, you got in the back of the van. Well, we're talking now. All right, here's the description. It can make you feel lucky. Yep. Oh, yep. And it's hard and round. It can make you feel lucky.
You feel lucky, and it's hard and round.
It's
Derek
hard
D. First guess or question.
Well, yeah, we're not guessing yet.
First question. My fault.
First question.
Can it fit in the palm of your hand?
Yes.
It can fit in the palm of your hand. Is it made of wood?
No.
Okay. Number 2. First clue.
Speaking of Kim, it's easy to get your hand on. These are all producer-approved hints. Because I didn't want them be too hard. Didn't want them to be too easy.
Easy to get your hand on.
Easy to get your hand on.
Is it?
It makes you feel lucky. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Makes you feel lucky. It fits in your hand, and it's easy to get your hand on.
Is it
Top 3 answers on
colorful at times, or can some be colorful or more colorful than others?
It's not a mood ring, no.
Does it come in a wrapper?
Watch me make it more. It has been wrapped, but it does not come in a wrapper.
Like it's wrapped now for presentation?
It is not wrapped
Or
now
when
for
you
presentation.
initially bought it, it was in a
not-
wrapper.
No, it was
You
not.
removed it from the wrapper.
I did not buy it. It was not purchased, and it did not come in a wrapper.
Oh, God damn it. All right, next clue.
I think this is what we call the deal breaker, Vanna.
Already? How many do you have? You have 2 left?
Yeah, you got 2 left.
All right.
Abe Lincoln made it famous. This is the one I wrote. Abe Lincoln made it famous. Viewers at home screaming the answer right now.
I think we all know.
Oh, shit, I got it.
What is it?
Well, I don't want to say it yet.
Is it a just if you saw it on the ground, you'd go, probably don't need to pick that up.
That is correct.
Is it copper? Partially?
I don't know what they make them out of nowadays.
Do we have to write it down?
Assassination.
Well, last one. What's the last?
People have been known to give you one for the thoughts. For your thoughts.
Oh, there it is.
Do we need to write it down on the count of 3? You want to say, what's in the box? 1, 2, 3.
Penny.
A penny.
Actually,
penny.
you know what I thought it was at first? I thought it was a poker chip.
Colorful.
I thought condom. That's where my head went, condom.
Condom?
Yeah.
I was thinking poker
It
chip.
fits in your hand. It's round. It makes you feel like
Well,
you're
I'm
going to
just
get
thinking
lucky.
Geno does a lot of casino gigs and shit, and maybe you had a
Because it was
$1.
something that you found in your car, and a dead hooker wouldn't fit in that shoebox.
That's true. You couldn't. It'd be tough to fit.
Unless we chopped her
Tough
off.
to fit. Ooh,
And everything that's in the box goes on the shelf, right?
There
Not
you
that
go.
anyone's ever going to see the penny. But
Now, what else has been purchased? A Nintendo controller?
that's an original Nintendo controller.
That's an
I see
OG.
that.
All that stuff has been in the box, including the stuff hanging up on the board.
But see, I wasn't being lazy with the penny. I thought there was the story behind the penny was that was one of the E-cubed experiments. The last time I ever worried about cash was they said there's 2 different experiments you do with money. And one was like you just take $100, $200, and $5 bills. And you just start, for 3 days, you give them away. Not to people, you hide them. And you leave notes like love and wealth and just positive thoughts. Give it
on
away.
the $5 bill.
Yeah, and wherever you leave it, you just give it away. You hide it, you leave it, you don't think about it. And you don't want to do it at first, but you do it. You just give it away. And then you get in the habit of being suddenly it means less and less to you. And the next one is even better. And it's one you really have to believe in the whole, you get what
yeah.
you couldn't have teased it out any more perfectly, Derek. You see it on the ground, you might not pick it up. Always pick it up. Heads up, tails up, pick it up. And be fucking ridiculously excited whenever you find a penny. Because the universe has no knowledge of money and wealth and value. It just knows you're happy to get something.
That's a good point.
And when you look at money in any amount and you're thrilled to get it, the universe is no problem. And it'll keep sending it to you. And it doesn't even notice whether it's sending you a penny or $1 million or anything in between.
Yeah.
And I know that
That's
sounds
interesting.
crazy.
No, but actually it's
I did it when I was touring in Reno. I left money all over Reno, and
And people want that.
yeah,
you know,
but I was hiding it and stuff, and it was so much. And you just suddenly you're looking at it as paper. And then you pick up you're like, yes, goddamn penny. And, and he's doing Jew jokes, but it doesn't matter. You do so that's why I brought the pennies. I wasn't being
it's great.
lazy.
That's
Daddy
not
wasn't
lazy at all.
mailing
There's
it
a
in.
story
No,
behind
it's
it.
a nice
It's
little
awesome.
story.
No, and it's a good message.
The hints. Frank might have led you astray on the hints. Could have been a little harder at first.
I was really pleased with the Lincoln made it famous. Easy to get your hand on. Look, it's a goddamn
Easy to get your
pen.
hand on. was
Why,
good.
when he says easy to get your hand on and you put it in your hand, it makes you happy? Immediately I start thinking of
a wiener?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, really? Well, you've got some shit to work out.
All right, man. I got a couple questions to ask you here. Number one, we keep saying we're going to change the rules to this game,
Yeah, I
but
know.
we don't. You want to try to guess it before we do it? Geno, don't say anything. Derek and I, real quick, are going to guess
Really
what your
quick.
AOL Instant Messenger screen name was.
You will never get it.
You want to give it a shot, Dave, real quick?
You've been a Charger fan all your life?
Oh,
All my
wow.
life. All my life.
JB Bolts. GB
It is not
Bolts.
GB Bolts. It's not
GB
G- although
Bolts.
that's, I wish I'd thought of that.
Sports Guy 21.
No, but I like the LaDainian Tomlin reference. No.
What was it?
Geno B4 at AOL.com.
There's oh,
I said GB.
The AIM name was just Geno B4. Because 4 is my lucky single-digit number.
there you go, man. Like everybody has that number in there. It's-
Yeah.
This is a game. This music indicates a game we like to play. It's called not a game, but it's called Armchair Futurist. Right. The year 2050. You're sitting back in your reclining chair and you're looking at your industry. What does it look like? But before you answer that question, when's the last time you heard the sound of a modem, and what does that bring back to you?
It brings back AOL when I first got online, and I would sit there and download porn, and the pictures would come ever so slow.
That's a
Get to
com-
the nipple! Get to the nipple!
That's a common
That's all I
answer.
need.
Yeah, you yelled that in the car. What? Get to the my nipple!
I love that Geno keeps saying that to a dude.
Whatever you need to tell yourself, guys. Daddy doesn't care about the fourth wall. What do I think the industry will be?
2050.
Even more fragmented. TV will no longer exist. Okay, everything will be
As we know
it. No, I mean, you will use TV to watch Netflix. You will watch TV to watch Hulu. That's all you. And there will be the next thing. It'll be 3 generations over. I mean, look how quickly we went from MySpace to Facebook to Periscope. I mean, That's it. There's stuff out there that everyone's creating apps now. No one wants to get a job anymore. People want to get paid. People want to create an app and be a millionaire. So there will be people trying to create more apps for streaming, for entertainment, for everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's it. And it will become, what was that movie, WALL-E, where we're just fat people on floating chairs. I mean it.
Did you see Black Mirror?
No idea what that is.
It's a Netflix original, I guess. It's like a Twilight Zone. It's 5-part series based around technology, and it's kind of like
watch it. I
what
gotta
you're
write these
saying.
things
Like
down.
people they just lived
It's like so many. That's another thing. There's so many shows.
Can't keep up.
in
Can't
one of
keep
the
up.
episodes. People just lived to ride bicycles to generate electricity so people could watch their shows, and then they'd go back to their cubicle.
That's a show, or it's
That was an episode of Black Mirror. It's
okay.
it's sick and twisted, but
so it's a current like Twilight Zone, or,
Yeah.
or that's kind of neat.
yeah.
In that movie, Her. Watch
She,
Phoenix.
she.
Oh, she, yeah.
Her, she, some bitch.
Nah, twat.
Some computer chick.
I mean, it's it's coming. Is it not?
It
coming?
is.
Does it scare you?
Sometimes not at all.
I'm sitting at point A, seeing what point B is next. I'm enjoying every minute of point A. I've had
that
more
fun,
fun on
Art?
this podcast. I always like hanging out with you, Derek, and now
Thank
you,
you, man.
Mike. It's always a good fucking time.
And you know what? Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you having.
ArtieQuitter.com, ARTIE 673, free month. I had more fun than anyone here.
Again, where could they? Thank you. Where could they stalk you on Instagram?
Just go to GenoBisconte.com. It's my website. It's got all the links in the upper right. Geno's Picks will be coming back next month. And big test shoot with the Post tomorrow. Send your positive vibes. Might be bringing Geno's Picks to a Post to the Post website.
Oh, it'd be awesome, dude.
It'd be fun.
Derek D.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that, if you don't, Geno's Picks is a show on YouTube. And if you're any fan of football or you just like comedy, you need to check this out.
Actually, if you're a fan of football and dislike comedy, then
Follow Geno on Twitter, though, at Geno Bisconte.
PBRpodcast.com. You can find us on the
PBR.
web. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let's give us some love. We'll love you back. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And good luck.
my goddamn pleasure, kids.
It's been a blast.